Should Premium return to the Battlefield franchise, and will it be coming in the next game? What is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. So this conversation has recently been spurred over on Twitter when an ex-DICE developer, Jacob Ajmal, who has worked on some of the best Battlefield games from Battlefield 3 all the way up until when they started working on Battlefield 2042, I believe, at which point he then left the company. He now works for Games and he's working on the game Blood Hunt. And he tweeted out saying, when it comes to Battlefield, I am more than happy to pay money for a bunch of maps, vehicles and weapons every 4 months. No need for hyper addictive persistence or competitive features. I'm here to see buildings collapse and have a laugh. If you make that, you have my money. I'm going to just quote what I replied to him here. I said, I totally agree. I have absolutely no qualms with paying for premium or map packs. And the issue over that has always been that it's splitting the player base, right? Maybe you have a bunch of friends, you buy the new map pack for whatever game it is, you ring them up, hey, you want to play some Battlefield? And they say, oh, well, we don't have the map pack, so we can't join you in those maps, we'll have to play the vanilla maps. And this has always been the issue of if people can afford this or not. Now, for my predicament, I suppose I'm lucky enough and at that age, like many of you perhaps, where for me, paying $20 for a map pack is not a huge deal. If it's for a game, a Battlefield game that I'm playing every day and it's a good game, they're good maps, I have no problem with that. But perhaps if you're a child, you're making, I don't know, $5 a week allowance, then that's like a whole month of money for you, right? So people like that may prefer to have the season pass model and get free content. Although I will state that, Battlefield games are 16 plus, so really there shouldn't be any very young kids playing it. Now, Premium has been in the game all the way up until Battlefield 1. I think Battlefield 5, right, that was the first game that did away with Premium and simply had a season pass, live content, whatever you want to call it. And as we know, the content for that game was kind of a drip feed. It came out a little bit too slow, and that seems to be the sentiments that most people have towards Season 2 of Battlefield 2042, right? The content is good, there just isn't enough of it, and this is the problem with not having Premium. But what happened? People complained, and don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming this on people complaining, but people did complain about Premium content splitting the player base, and they said that all of the maps should just be free, and now we actually have a model where that is the case. But look at how many people are playing the game, and you tell me, has it been a success or not? Of course, that isn't the only reason for the Battlefield franchise's downfall, far from it, but I definitely think that since Fortnite came out and other games that made a live service and a battle pass popular, that other franchises have just gone downhill. Call me old-fashioned, but I just prefer the DLC model. Anyway, this has been something that's on my mind for a while, so I just wanted to make a little video on this since I saw Jacob's comments. Now, one interesting thing is that Marcus Leto, who's heading up the new DICE studio that is being created at the moment in Seattle, he actually liked this comment, which is interesting because generally speaking, DICE and EA developers, if you ever look around on Twitter and follow any of them, they don't really speak their mind. If you ask them what they truly think of Battlefield 2042, they're not exactly allowed to say it's a stinking pile of crap, because they will probably get fired from their jobs. Now, Jacob, being an ex-DICE developer, is now able to say whatever he wants and speak his mind. Because he's had a lot of history with the Battlefield franchise, he often keeps up with the Battlefield news and comments in his own way. In fact, some of it is downright hilarious. Just the other day when they announced that they had no plans to implement a server browser, he tweeted out saying, "Did you know that if you play Battlefield after midnight and whisper server browser 20 times in a row, the disk tray will open up and the CD will fly out and cut your throat?" It was just kind of comedic timing right after the announcement there, and it's just interesting to see him poking fun at Battlefield and sort of saying, hey, why are you a rubbish game now since I started working on you? However, Marcus Leto does seem to be pretty open about discussing the Battlefield franchise. Now, before everyone jumps on him and says, okay, go and make Battlefield 2042 a good game before you start working on the next game, because I have seen that in the comments before, just know that Marcus is the creator or the co-creator of the Halo franchise. He obviously is somebody who knows what he's doing. He knows how to create good games and good characters. I don't think anybody can really debate that. And he had absolutely nothing to do with Battlefield 2042. He was only brought on board to head up this new studio when Battlefield 2042 was launching, so he was never actually working on the project. But what he is doing is working on the next game, and he seems to be making an honest effort over on Twitter to gather our feedback, our suggestions, our wishes, and incorporate those into the next Battlefield game. Not so long ago, he was asking about vehicle usage and what are your favourite moments, and a few hours ago, he's asking about Battlefield locations and what you prefer. He says, I personally love locations where some are more infantry CQB focused, with others that provide a great mix of infantry and vehicle combat. Where would you love to go immerse yourself in combat? So if you have something to say on the issue, I really do recommend following Marcus on Twitter. You may think he will never reply to you, but in fact, I've seen he does reply to most people, and he seems to be making an honest effort to figure out what made the best and most popular Battlefield games good, and sort of reignite that fire in the next game. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that the next game is going to be good though. You know, bringing new management and new developers on board could be a step in the right direction for Battlefield. Maybe it's going to invigorate the franchise and make it better than it ever has been. On the other hand, it could make it worse than it ever has been. They could fully embrace the specialist model, the live service model, all of these things that we consider these days to not really belong or have a home in the Battlefield franchise. You know, the dumbing down of the vehicle mechanics. I mean, I'm not going to go into that, but let's face it, we all know that after Battlefield 4, if you're anyone who is anyone and you know how to use a vehicle, you have to admit that the vehicles have gotten way easier and less skill-based with every game that has released since. It's sad to see, and I hope that they're going to reverse that and try to make things go in the other direction. As always, guys, leave me your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to read those and reply to you guys. If you enjoyed the video, leaving a like and subscribing is always appreciated. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.